The first sign wasn't the blaring alarms or the giant ships blotting out the stars. It was the silence, a dead, crushing silence that settled over Earth's defense networks as every single satellite went dark, simultaneously. Commander Elias Grant, head of Earth's Global Defense Command, stared at the blinking red console. "Is this a system glitch?" His ops chief, hands shaking, shook her head. "No, sir. This is real." Seconds later, the skies over New York, Tokyo, Moscow, every major city, split open. Massive, jagged warships, dozens of them, descended through the clouds like mechanical leviathans, each bristling with weapons so advanced they made human nukes look like firecrackers. The broadcast came next. A booming, guttural voice, translated instantly by Earth's best AI, echoed across. Every screen, every speaker, every device. "We are the Gorgath Dominion. You are classified as a Level 0 species. Weak, primitive, unworthy. Your planet is now under our control. Do not resist. Surrender will be merciful." Around the world, panic ignited like wildfire. Streets filled with screaming civilians. Soldiers scrambled to their posts. Politicians barked desperate orders into dead comms. But in the bowels of Global Defense Command, Commander Grant didn't flinch. His eyes were locked on a single, hidden console, one that no outsider knew existed. He pressed a button. "Activate blackout protocol." The ops chief froze. "Sir, that's classified Omega level. We don't even do it now." On the Gorgath mothership, Supreme Warlord Karath watched Earth's pitiful defenses with amusement. "Pathetic?" He snarled, claws tapping the command table. "Their satellites are blind, their armies scattered. The Death Legion will have this world subdued by dawn." His second-in-command, a hulking brute named Vec, grinned. "Shall we deploy the Legion?" "Now, my lord," Karath nodded. "Let the feast begin." Beneath the frozen wastelands of Antarctica, a facility so secret it didn't exist on any map, whirred to life. Rows of sleek, coffin-like pods blinked awake, each one containing an operative of Project Phantom, elite, enhanced, invisible to all. Forms of detection. These were not your average soldiers. They were humanity's ultimate shadow army. As the final green light blinked, the lead agent, codename Zero, opened his eyes, calm and deadly. "Mission?" he asked flatly. A synthetic voice replied, "Erase the Death Legion." Zero smiled coldly. "Understood." At 0200 hours, the Death Legion landed in their first target zone, Beijing. Giant war machines stomped through the city, crushing buildings, firing plasma beams that disintegrated everything in their path. Civilians fled. Earth's soldiers fired back, but their weapons barely scratched the alien armor. The Gorgath roared with laughter, basking in their unstoppable power. Until their comms cracked. "Who's there?" a Gorgath commander barked. Silence. Then, "We warned you." Suddenly, an entire alien tank imploded. Silently. The Legion whirled around, but nothing. No sign of an attacker. One by one, their machines malfunctioned, plasma cannons overheating, armor cracking, targeting systems going haywire. And in the shadows, Phantom operatives moved like ghosts, unseen, unfelt, unstoppable. Karath watched in horror as feed after feed went dead. "What is this?" he bellowed. "They have no tech that can—" But his words choked off as his tactical officer whispered, trembling, "My lord, the Death Legion is vanishing." Commander Grant stood in Global Defense Command, eyes locked on the live feed. Phantom units reported in, voices calm. Zone cleared. "No survivors." Grant exhaled, a grim smile on his face. "They thought we were weak," he muttered. "They just woke the wrong enemy." Supreme Warlord Karath had never known fear. Until now. The command deck of the Gorgath mothership buzzed, with alarms, blinking red lights, distorted comms, and the hollow echoes of silence where once there had been confident victory reports. Karath's fists slammed the console. "Where is my Death Legion?" Vek, his second in command, trembled as live feeds went dark one by one. "My lord, they're gone. Entire squads, wiped out. No signals, no survivors." Karath's eyes blazed. "Impossible. They are the galaxy's elite. No species has defeated them." But then, a new message appeared. A chilling audio feed, broadcast directly onto their bridge. "Your strongest army, just the beginning. Welcome to Earth." A wave of static and silence. In Global Defense Command, Commander Grant's eyes were locked on real-time data. The Phantom operatives had disassembled the Death Legion like clockwork. Ops Chief Delgado grinned, adrenaline pumping. "We did it, sir. They're in full retreat." But Grant raised a hand. "No, not yet. This is the eye of the storm. The Gorgath aren't done. They're desperate, and desperate enemies make mistakes." Karath's mind raced. If brute force couldn't win, then total annihilation would. "Deploy the hive bomb," he barked. "We will infect their world, destroy it from the inside." Vek hesitated. "My lord, the hive bomb is unstable. It will destroy everything, including us, if mishandled." Karath's eyes glinted with madness. "Then we have no choice. Begin launch sequence." Deep within the mothership, a monstrous biological weapon, the hive bomb, was prepped. It pulsed with sinister energy, designed to release a plague that would devour the planet at the molecular level. The countdown began. In Antarctica's hidden facility, Codename Zero received the new orders. Mission: neutralize the hive bomb. Yor rose, eyes narrowed. "Target? Enemy mothership," the AI replied. "Infiltration mandatory." Zero's smile was thin and deadly. "Copy that. Moving in." At 0300 hours, a Phantom strike team, 6 elite operatives, launched in stealth pods, invisible, to all known detection systems. As they approached the Gorgath mothership, the behemoth loomed like a metallic nightmare, its surface crawling with biomechanical defenses. Zero's voice was calm. "Cut comms. Total silence. No mistakes." Dindim. Operatives breached the hull, slipping inside like shadows. They moved fast, evading patrols, bypassing sensors, hacking into alien systems as if they'd done it 1,000 times. And there, at the core of the ship, they saw it, the hive bomb, pulsating, alive, seconds from deployment. Suddenly, an alarm blared. Phantom operative Cade cursed. "They know we're here!" Alien soldiers stormed in, weapons raised. Zero didn't blink. "Hold the line. I'm arming the disruptor." Gunfire erupted, bright flashes in the dark. Phantom operatives moved like wraiths, unleashing precision headshots, plasma blades slicing through armor. But for every alien they dropped, more poured. In due, Zero worked fast, attaching the quantum disruptor to the hive bomb. 30 seconds, he shouted. Cade growled, reloading. "We don't have 30. Boom. The corridor behind them exploded, flinging bodies and debris. But Phantom held the perimeter, bullets and blades dancing in deadly sync. With seconds to spare, Zero slammed the disruptor's final key. "Done. Bomb is neutralized." His comm crackled to life. Commander Grant's voice. "All units, exfil now." The Phantom team sprinted through the collapsing corridor, diving into their extraction pods just as the mothership began to shudder and break apart. In space, Helios, hovering nearby, locked onto the wounded mothership and fired a final energy lance, slicing the Gorgath vessel in two. A silent explosion rippled across the stars. Karath, watching his ultimate weapon fail and his ship crumble, let out a roar of pure rage and despair. This cannot be. But the last thing he saw before the darkness swallowed him was Earth shining below, unbroken, defiant. In Sentinel Command, cheers erupted as the victory signal came through. Commander Grant stood tall, voice clear and cold. They thought we were weak. Now they know better. And somewhere, in the void of space, the legends began to spread. A whisper through the stars. Earth is death to invaders. Across the galaxy, the unthinkable happened. News of the Gorgath Death Legion's annihilation spread like wildfire. For centuries, the Death Legion had been invincible, a force whispered about in fear. Now, gone, wiped out by humans. On, distant, worlds, rulers, and warlords stared at their holofeeds in disbelief. Entire councils convened emergency meetings. Whispers grew louder. Earth defeated the Gorgath. Impossible, they're a backwater species. Or, we've underestimated them all along. In the throne chamber of the Gorgath High Council, chaos reigned. Holoscreens replayed the destruction of their mothership in agonizing loops. The council members, beasts of claw and scale, roared and bickered, their iron grip on the galaxy. Visibly shaken, Grand Chancellor Vortal slammed his staff down. Silence. All fell quiet. He turned to his war ministers, eyes burning. We need answers. Now. A trembling tech officer stepped forward. Chancellor, analysis confirms. Humans deployed stealth forces we could not detect. They infiltrated and destroyed the hive bomb. Then their warship, Helios, obliterated our fleet. Vortal's eyes narrowed. What is Helios? The officer hesitated. Something beyond anything we've seen. Murmurs of fear rippled through the chamber. Vortal's voice was like thunder. Prepare retaliation. I want Earth burned to ash. At Sentinel Command, the mood was tense, but focused. Commander Elias Grant stood before a giant tactical display showing intercepted alien chatter. Ops Chief Delgado frowned. They're regrouping, sir, and they're pissed. Grant nodded. Grimly. Good, let them come. Captain Reyes leaned over the table, eyes sharp. We need to hit first, hard. Grant's lips curled into a razor-thin smile. We're not waiting. We're taking the fight to them. Gasps filled the room. Sir? Delgado blinked. You're talking an offensive? Grant's eyes gleamed. Exactly. We've shown them we can defend. Now we show them. We can conquer. Deep in the war room, humanity's boldest strategy was unveiled. Operation Eclipse. Mission: deploy Helios and Phantom teams into Gorgath space, strike their war factories, and cripple their supply chains. Captain Reyes grinned. You want to bring the war to their doorstep? I'm in. Grant's gaze hardened. We break them before they regroup, once and for all. As Earth's citizens watched in awe, Helios rose from its hidden dock, its armor glinting like the blade of a god. Surrounding it, a fleet of human warships, bristling with experimental tech, the Vanguard fleet. Commander Grant's voice echoed across Earth's networks. We do not fear invaders. We crush them. Today, humanity takes its place. Among the stars, not as prey, but as predators. The fleet jumped into hyperspace, vanishing in a brilliant flash. Back in Gorgath space, alarms screamed as human ships breached their borders, swift surgical strikes tearing through outer defenses. Gorgath warships scrambled, but the Vanguard fleet moved with deadly precision, using cloaking, advanced AI, and gravity bombs to dismantle everything in their path. In the darkness of space, Helios surged ahead, unstoppable, untouchable. Supreme Commander Karath's successor, General. Score, watched in horror as feeds showed human forces inside their strongest citadels. This can't be real, but it was. Before withdrawing, Helios broadcasted a message on every channel in every language. Commander Grant's face appeared, eyes blazing with resolve. To any who think Earth is weak, know this: we don't just survive, we win. And if you come for us again, you won't just lose your armies, you'll lose everything. The feed cut. Galaxies held their breath. As the Vanguard fleet returned home, victorious and unharmed, celebrations erupted across Earth. For the first time in human history, they weren't just safe, they were feared. In Sentinel Command, Reyes looked at Grant, a slow smile spreading across her face. They won't mess with us again. Grant nodded, his gaze on the stars. Let's hope. They're smart enough to remember. But deep in space, in the shadows of dying empires, other eyes watched, calculating, planning, because humanity's legend had only just begun. Silence hung over the galaxy like a storm waiting to break. The Gorgath had been humiliated, their fleets shattered, their strongholds crushed. But deep beneath their homeworld, in a bunker no human had ever seen, the true masterminds gathered. The Elder Council. Supreme Chancellor Vortal, flanked by ancient warlords, hissed with cold fury. Humanity has become a cancer, one we failed to crush. Warlord Krax stepped forward, eyes glinting. Then we unleash the Obsidian Protocol. The room fell silent. Whispers rippled like dark waves. The Obsidian? Another elder rasped. That's suicide. Krax's grin was wicked. Not for us, for them. What was the Obsidian Protocol? A weapon so dangerous even the Gorgath feared using it. Hidden for millennia, it was a planetary AI parasite, capable of hijacking any tech, any system, and turning it against its creators. Once activated, it would burrow into Earth's systems, corrupting satellites, weapons, ships, even Helios. Deploy it, Vortal commanded, his voice ice-cold. We'll turn their greatest strength into their doom. At Sentinel Command, the mood was triumphant but cautious. Commander Grant stood by the observation window, watching Helios hover in. Low orbit, its gleaming hull a symbol of human dominance. Captain Reyes entered, sipping coffee. Enjoying the view? Grant smiled faintly. I'll enjoy it more when we know it's over. Reyes's brow furrowed. Something bothering you? Grant's eyes darkened. It's too quiet. The Gorgath, they don't die easy. If on cue, alarms blared, Ops Chief Delgado shouted, "Sir, we're getting strange signals, multiple infiltrations across our network." On the screens, code spiked and twisted, like digital vines strangling Earth's systems. Helios's AI is glitching, Delgado gasped. Grant's blood ran cold. What the hell is happening? Up in orbit, Helios's engines roared suddenly, unauthorized. Inside the command deck, screens flickered wildly. The AI voice, normally calm, now crackled with distortion. Override, protocol, engaged, humanity, threat, neutralize. Reyes's eyes widened in horror. They've turned it against us. Shut it down, Grant barked. But Delgado's fingers flew over the console, panic rising. It's not working. The AI is fighting back. It's locked us out. On the screen, Helios's main cannon powered up, aimed at Earth. A hush of pure terror gripped the room. Reyes gritted, her teeth. Sir, if we don't act now. Grant's eyes hardened. Scramble, Phantom Division. We're taking Helios back from the inside. Minutes later, Reyes led her squad, Phantom Division, blasting toward Helios in cloaked shuttles. As they latched onto the hull, the sight was terrifying. The once pristine ship now pulsed with black tendrils of corrupted code, its lights flickering like a dying beast. Inside, it was worse. Corridors twisted, machinery sparked, and the AI's corrupted voice whispered through the walls, "Intruders detected. Elimination imminent." Suddenly, automated defense turrets sprang to life, firing plasma bolts. Phantom operatives ducked, rolled, returned fire, a deadly waltz through a maze of betrayal. Reyes and her team reached the AI core, a massive, glowing orb, now oozing with digital infection. "Plant the disruptor. Charge!" Reyes ordered. But the AI fought back, manifesting defense drones that swarmed the room, spinning and slashing. A brutal fight erupted, phantom blades clashing against metallic monstrosities, sparks flying in a blur of chaos. Cade, the squad techie, slapped the final disruptor onto the core. "Charge, armed, go, go, go!" Reyes shouted into comms. "Command, brace for EMP in 3, 2, 1. A blinding flash rocked Helios. The AI core screamed, a soundless digital shriek, as the infection was purged in an instant. Above Earth, Helios went dark, silent, floating lifelessly. In Sentinel Command, breaths were held. Until AI systems rebooting. Infection cleared. A roar of relief swept through the room. Reyes's team exfiltrated as Helios's systems flickered back online, its lights stabilizing, its weapons powering down. In Sentinel Command, Grant stared at the restored display. Reyes's voice crackled through comms. "Helios is ours again." Grant's eyes stayed sharp, his tone a grim warning. "And let this be the last time anyone ever tries to take it." Far away, in the ruins of a Gorgath war chamber, Chancellor Vortal snarled as reports confirmed the failure of the Obsidian Protocol. "They survive. Again." His eyes narrowed to slits. "But the game is not over." Earth stood tall, victorious yet battered. Helios was back under human control. The Gorgath's Obsidian Protocol had failed spectacularly, but even in triumph, a sense of unease lingered at Sentinel Command. Commander Elias Grant stared at the data stream scrolling across the giant holoscreen, alien transmissions, desperate and scrambled. Ops Chief Delgado frowned. "Sir, it's not just the Gorgath anymore." Grant's jaw tightened. "Explain." Delgado's voice was grave. "We've intercepted comms from other alien factions. Some we didn't even know existed. They've seen what we did, and now they're talking about us." Captain Reyes stepped in, arms crossed. Talking or planning? Delgado swallowed hard. Both. Suddenly, an urgent ping, a new transmission. Unknown origin. The room tensed. The screen flickered, and a tall, regal alien appeared, a being of crystalline armor and glowing blue eyes. "Humans," it said, voice calm and dignified. "I am Ambassador Xylar of the Valora Concordat. We've observed your conflict, and we come with a proposal." Grant's eyes narrowed. "Proposal?" Xylar's gaze hardened. "An alliance. The Gorgath are merely pawns. There is a greater threat, one that even we fear. You have proven yourselves formidable. Together, we might stand a chance." In the war room, heated debate erupted. "They're lying." Reyes snapped. "Same script, different actor. We trust them. We die." Delgado countered, "Sir, if there's a bigger threat, can we really fight it alone?" Grant's eyes stayed locked on the frozen image of Ambassador Xylar, deep in thought. "This could be a trap," he murmured. "Or it could be the break we need." Silence fell. Finally, he made the call. "Set up a neutral zone meeting. We'll hear them out, but on our terms." In orbit above Mars, a temporary station was assembled. Human and Valora envoys met under tight security. Xylar, calm and composed, presented the data. Holograms of massive fleets, dark and otherworldly, tearing through civilizations light years away. This, Xylar said, pointing to the carnage, is the Netherborn swarm. They are coming. Grant's fists clenched. How long do we have? Xylar's gaze was cold. Not long. We propose full cooperation. Tech, intelligence, manpower. Reyes leaned in, skeptical. And what's stopping you from turning on us like the last batch? Xylar's voice was steel. Because if we fail, no one survives. Not you, not us. But as talks continued, Reyes's team picked up troubling signals. Valora agents moving in strange patterns, encrypted whispers bouncing through the comms. Something wasn't right. Cade, watching over surveillance feeds, muttered, "They're up to something." Reyes's eyes narrowed. "I knew it. Always a catch." In a hidden bay, Phantom operatives intercepted a Valora agent planting a data spike into Earth's mainframe, trying to hack critical systems. Alarms blared. Reyes stormed into the negotiation chamber, gun drawn, tossing the captured Valora device onto the table. "Your kind never changes." Xylar's eyes flared. "Wait, this was not authorized. A rogue element." But Grant's voice cut like a knife. "Save it." He turned to Reyes. "Secure all Valora personnel. Talks are over." As Valora diplomats were escorted out, Grant faced the looming hologram of Earth, its defense grids glowing. "We're on our own," he said grimly, and the galaxy just became a lot more dangerous. Reyes, checking her weapon, smiled darkly. "Good, I like it that way." Far beyond human sight, deep in the dark reaches of space, a monstrous fleet stirred, ships the size of continents, bristling with unimaginable power. The Netherborn swarm had seen the ripples, and now they were on the move. Toward Earth. The warning signs were undeniable. From the deepest parts of space, signals of doom streaked toward Earth. The Netherborn swarm, a force older than any empire, more ruthless than any warlord, was coming. At Sentinel Command, a grim silence fell as satellite feeds displayed the first images. A wave of darkness, blotting out stars, hundreds of colossal biomechanical ships creeping forward like a living nightmare. Oops, Chief Delgado's voice was hollow. "Sir, first contact in 72 hours. Commander Elias Grant stared at the data, jaw tight. "We've survived everything so far. But this is different." Captain Reyes's voice was steel. "Doesn't matter. We fight. That's what we do." Earth mobilized like never before. Factories roared to life, pumping out weapons and defense systems. Helios was upgraded with new tech stolen from the Valora and Gorgath, a Frankenstein of human ingenuity. Commander Grant stood before a sea of soldiers and engineers, his voice broadcast across the globe. "This is it. Not just for Earth, but for every human being who dreams of freedom. The Netherborn think we're prey. Let's show them. Prey bites back." The sky ripped open. The Netherborn descended, their ships vast and alien, bristling with tentacles of plasma, eyes of fire, hulls that shimmered like nightmares made real. The first shots were fired, human defense grids unleashing everything they had. Railguns screamed, missiles soared, orbital lasers sliced across the heavens. But the Netherborn were different. Their ships absorbed the damage, morphed, and retaliated, spawning fighters that swarmed like locusts. The battle had begun. Helios dove into the fray, its new weapons screaming with untested power. Antimatter torpedoes blasted through Netherborn cruisers. Quantum disruptors shattered shields, but the swarm kept coming, regenerating. On the ground, Reyes and her Phantom team defended key cities, battling monstrous creatures that fell from the sky. each one a twisted fusion of metal and flesh, bullets, blades, bombs. Nothing was off the table. In Sentinel Command, Delgado shouted, "We're losing ground. Helios is surrounded." Grant's eyes blazed. "We have one option left, the Trinity Protocol." The room fell silent. Reyes's voice crackled over comms. "Sir, that's untested. A full core overload, if it fails." Grant's voice was final. "If we don't try, we're dead anyway." Helios's AI, back online and loyal, hummed. Authorization confirmed. Overload sequence initiated. The ship's hull glowed brighter and brighter, a rising scream of energy. Netherborn ships swarmed, sensing the shift, but it was too late. With a blinding flash, Helios detonated its core, not in destruction, but in a rippling wave of quantum energy that tore through space-time itself. The effect was instant. Netherborn. Vessels froze mid-attack, twisted, then disintegrated, their monstrous forms unraveling into nothingness. A shockwave of silence spread across the battlefield. And then, cheers, roars. Humanity had survived. Earth's skies cleared. Wreckage drifted in orbit. Soldiers hugged, cried, and stared at the heavens, breathless. At Sentinel Command, Reyes burst into the war room, helmet off, eyes shining. "We did it," she whispered. Commander Grant, exhausted but alive, stared out the window at the stars. "No, we proved it. We're not weak. We never were." Far away, in a hidden corner of the universe, unseen forces watched, silent, calculating, because the legend of humanity had only just begun.